Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Explainer. So today we are looking into a massive shift in Google's storage rules. We're calling this the 15 gigabyte squeeze. And honestly, it's a real game changer for how we manage our digital lives. Let's get right into it.
For years, we basically lived in this digital Wild West, right? Just endless, free backup space where we could save literally everything to the cloud without even a second thought. Well, that era is officially over. And at the absolute center of this massive shift is one specific number, 15. That is the exact number of gigabytes you get in a standard free Google account. Now, for the longest time, 15 gigabytes felt like this sprawling, infinite territory. But today, that space is strictly finite. Unless you're lucky enough to have a Google Workspace subscription through your job or school, or you're already shelling out cash for a Google One upgrade, this 15 gigabyte hard limit is the immovable wall your entire digital workflow is about to smash right into.
Okay, let's dive into this, because Google has been sending out warnings specifically stating that new data types are going to, quote, eat into your storage space. So why is this happening right now? Well, it's pretty simple. As these big tech giants transition away from their old growth at all costs model and focus strictly on monetization, those generous free perks we used to love, yeah, they're the first things to get cut. We are looking at a direct collision between your everyday mindless habits and a giant corporate push toward paid subscriptions. Every single time you send a text, customize your phone settings, or just let an app save its data in the background, it is all gnawing away at that one finite 15 gigabyte block. The safety nets we used to rely on are just gone, and suddenly our daily smartphone routines have become direct liabilities to our cloud quotas.
Now, it's important to realize this didn't just happen overnight. If you track the timeline, it looks a lot like a creeping military advance. Google has actually been systematically closing these free storage loopholes for years. Think back to June of 2021, that's when newly created Google Drive files suddenly started counting against your quota. Then, fast forward to late 2023 and early 2024, and WhatsApp chat histories were brought into the fold, counting against those 15 gigabytes too. And then came the final major maneuver on July 7, 2024, when standard Android backups officially joined the limit. One by one, Google has just completely sealed off the free avenues, marching all of our data into that single, heavily taxed bucket.
And this brilliantly illustrates the battlefield we're dealing with now. The modern digital landscape operates entirely like a zero-sum game. You don't get separate little storage buckets for your different services anymore. It is all one shared pool. You basically have four major fronts completely draining one single reservoir. You've got your Gmail messages piling up, you've got your Google Drive files, you have years, maybe decades of high-resolution memory sitting in Google Photos, and now, squeezing into that exact same space, you have your entire Android and WhatsApp backups. So every megabyte taken up by a random phone backup is literally a megabyte stolen from your email or your family photo albums.
To really grasp the impact of this, we have to dramatically contrast the generous past with the incredibly strict new reality that just hit everyday Android users. Under the old rules, Google was, honestly, surprisingly lenient. Only the really heavy media files, stuff like images and videos uploaded to photos or sent through MMS, actually counted against your limit. But under these new rules, it's a totally different ballgame. Every single piece of data your phone backs up is included. We're talking the actual text of your SMS messages, your entire call history, your device settings, your wallpapers, and even your installed apps and their background data. The whole shebang. It all counts now. No exceptions.
So, the crucial point is how much space does all this new stuff actually take up? Well, Google claims the real-world impact for the average user is going to be pretty minor. They estimate it'll only add about 40 megabytes on average per device. Now, 40 megabytes sounds tiny, right? It barely sounds like a drop in the bucket. But here is the massive problem. If you are a user who has been hovering right at the edge of your 15 gigabyte limit for months, which is a lot of people, that tiny 40 megabyte advance is the straw that breaks the camel's back. It is literally all it takes to push you right over the edge and trigger a full-blown low storage crisis.
Which brings us to the most urgent question of this entire explainer. What exactly happens when that 15 gigabyte limit is finally breached? You know, you've crossed the line, you're officially out of space, then what?
Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but the consequences are absolutely severe. We are not just talking about a polite pop-up warning here. This is a total functional shutdown of your digital workflow. First off, your Gmail gets completely locked down. You can't send messages, and way more importantly, you cannot receive any new emails. They just bounce right back to the sender. Poof, gone. Second, your Google Drive is frozen solid. You can't upload new files, you can't create any new docs, sheets, or slides, nothing. And third, your Google Photos automatic backups are just dead in the water. No new photos or videos will be saved. You are entirely, completely cut off from the tool most of us use to function every single day.
Now, it is absolutely crucial that we clear up some common confusion here, because the fog of war surrounding Google's own warnings can cause a lot of unnecessary panic. The true, immediate threat of hitting your 15-gigabyte limit is not that Google is going to instantly wipe all your old emails and photos. That's a myth. The real threat here is immediate operational paralysis. Your history stays intact, but you completely lose your future ability to communicate, create, or save anything new.
In fact, according to Google's published documentation, your existing data is actually perfectly safe for a 2-year grace period once you cross that limit. And even after that, they are legally required to give you at least 3 months' notice before any content is permanently deleted. So, take a breath. Your historical data survives the initial breach. You don't have to panic about losing your wedding photos overnight. But, and this is a big but, make no mistake, your account effectively becomes a useless wasteland. You can look at what's already there, but the account is essentially dead for any new activity until you clear out some space.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that it marks our pivot from the crisis to the cure. It's time for some actionable intelligence. Here is your tactical storage survival guide for fighting back and reclaiming your digital territory. Okay, here are your primary defense mechanisms. First, Google is introducing these new very granular on-off toggles right inside your Android settings. This is great because you don't have to back up everything anymore. You can strategically turn off backups for stuff you honestly don't care about, like old call histories or random SMS texts. Second, you can free up a ton of space by deleting large items directly inside WhatsApp. If you go in and delete some massive video your uncle forwarded to a group chat, it deletes it from your cloud backup too, which really shrinks your overall footprint. And finally, you can always just surrender and upgrade to a paid Google One plan for more space. Or actually scratch that. If you want a truly long-term solution, you might want to look into migrating your data to alternative cloud providers, or even going old school with local physical storage, like external hard drives. That way you bypass this whole Google ecosystem limit entirely.
But, of course, there is always a catch when it comes to maintaining your space, right? Google actually has a really neat built-in storage cleanup tool that's designed to help you find and delete large, unnecessary files. Sounds perfect, but in a twist of incredible historical irony, the cavalry only arrives after the battle is completely lost. According to their own documentation, Google's cleanup tool only becomes available to you after you have already hit your 15-gigabyte quota. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. The very mechanism designed to help you proactively manage your space can't be accessed until the restrictions and the total lockdown are already active.
So, what does this all mean for us? This massive policy shift means the way we carelessly saved data in the past just isn't going to fly today. Every text, every photo, and every backup is a strategic decision now. So I have to leave you with this. Are you prepared for this digital siege, or is your 15-gigabyte ticking time bomb about to go off? It might be a really good idea to check your Google account storage right now, today, before your digital life grinds to a sudden and very unexpected halt. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I will catch you guys in the next one.